Hello and welcome to this Irish blended whiskey taste challenge. We have two 4-year-old Irish blended whiskeys. Jameson, of course, the number one selling Irish whiskey in the world, introduced in 1780, produced and bottled in the Irish Republic. The challenger, and I'm going to tell you right now, the winner, is going to be Bushmills Red Bush, introduced only in 2017, also aged 4 years. You say, what makes this remarkable? It's finished. I don't know about age, but finished in bourbon, first fill bourbon barrels. Now it says on the bottle aged for a minimum of 3 years, but the website says 4 years. So what is it? I'm gonna stick with the 4 years, but because this bottle is a few years old and the website's still showing 4 years. Well, 4 years would be a minimum of 3. It'd be 3 years plus an extra year. I don't know why these companies got bad websites. Like, there's an incongruity here. There. Same thing here. If you get on the Irish Distillers website, the main company website, Irish Distillers, it says Jameson has aged at least 3 years. Okay. But if you get on the Jameson.com website, it says, the brand website, it says it's aged at least 4 years. So there's a problem with both of these on the websites. But if you age something 4 years, it would be at least 3, because 3 is less than 4, right? You say, well, that's common sense. I know, but there should not be those kind of mistakes. I'm going to call them 4-year aged. If I'm wrong, then Jameson and John Jameson and Sons or Bushmills can call me and say, no, don't tell people our whiskey is 4 years old. It's no more than 3 years. I got a feeling that won't happen, but we'll say 4 years. This is going to count for tomorrow, Monday. So happy Easter, everybody. Easter 2022. Jameson, the classic, the legend, the this, the that, the number one selling Irish whiskey in the world. It was the only whiskey Father Pat ever drank at the Knights of Columbus meetings. We had a bottle of Jameson and it had marks a lot on there, in the marker, for Father Pat only. He was from the Irish Republic. Now, Bushmills. We got the greatest deal in the world on this. We got this bottle. David, my friend David, who does duo reviews with me, we found this for $9.99 a bottle. That is no joke. $9.99, and it's usually $22, $23, $24. So we had to buy it. I bought one bottle. He bought two. He couldn't help it himself. I said, well, I can understand the temptation. Matured to perfection in bourbon cask. So the thing about this one is finished or matured in bourbon barrels. That's what distinguishes it from other ones. Now, I had done in the past the Drumcastle Irish blended whiskey, which is finished in bourbon barrels and sherry barrels. No, I can't say that. Wine barrels. The label just says wine barrels. Is it probably sherry? It's probably sherry, but I cannot say. It could be who knows what kind of wine. So the Drumcastle is a combo. Some of it is aged. I don't know if they age it in bourbon, then they switch it over to sherry, or is it a combination of some of their whiskeys aged in bourbon, some in sherry, and then they blend it. They don't say. There's, that's a mystery. But we know that the Bushmills Red Bush is given the bourbon barrel treatment. Better not pee on that floor. All right. Drayton Sawyer. Hello, Drayton. Hey, Jay. I think Red Bush is the best bang for the buck out here. You might be right. Manus Cronin says, crazy to think that Irish whiskey is less expensive in Louisiana than it is in Ireland. It's cheaper here. I think Europe, the European Union, gets sky high prices to pay for all the free stuff they give you. Cheers, Louisiana. Liquor reviews. Happy Easter, says Tommy Carroll. Happy Easter to you. Back to you. Panthers rule. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Back to you. Manus says, we pay considerably more than $9.99 for a bottle. Well, look. Well, let's get something straight. $9.99 is a total aberration. Nobody sells it for $9.99. When we saw that price, that was clearly $10 cheaper than anybody came close to. We couldn't explain it. We didn't ask questions. We bought it, and got out of that place and went home. When you see something like that, you don't ask too many questions because then maybe you'd be screwing up. So we just bought it and got out. You're back to doing spirits? Yes. Lent is over. Easter is here. I'm going to get some water first. I think I need some water, and then I'm going to go to this. I was thirsty, which is why I wanted water. Simon Smith. If I go to the bar and order Bushmills, will I normally get the other Bushmills? Your review on that one was released this morning. Well, I think if you went to a bar, you would almost invariably get the Bushmills white label. The regular Bushmills, it's aged 3 years. I'm sorry, it's aged 5 years. No. What is it aged? I have to look it up. Let's check. I get confused because of the inconsistencies of their website. Bushmills. They have Bushmills, the white label. Fighter of Irish whiskey. Yeah. They change the label. It look like about every 3 years. So you'll notice that the label will be slightly different every time you see it. Now here's an important point. 1888, they came out with Bushmills Original. It says there is no better whiskey for making our classic cocktail. Pure single malt whiskey and lighter grain whiskey. Notice its rich, smooth, warming taste almost instantly, just as generations have done before. Aged 5 years. I knew I was right in sherry cask. Sherry. Okay, 5 years. They're telling you on their website it's really intended to mix with, I don't know, grapefruit juice, mineral water, whatever ice, whatever, ice and seltzer water, whatever you want to do, it's not really designed for sipping, but you could do that and it's not bad. Drayton said we get Red Bush here in Texas for about $22 for a 760. You mean a 750? Yeah, 750. Yeah, that's what it is here. And pints for around $9.99. Maybe they mislabeled it as a pint. No. That store, Savannah Discount, used to. Not so much anymore. They used to have outlandishly low prices. So, nobody could explain it, but we just kept buying it. They had the Jesse James bourbon whiskey, $7.99 for a liter. Now, any other store, it's $28 a liter. $28 a liter. They had it for $7.99. You think we didn't buy it? My friend David didn't buy it. I bought it. He was like, I never heard of that. I was like, I don't care. I'm buying it. And I knew it. And I got a great deal. Thanks. There's a third one, the white label. Yeah, the white label's the original. And if you look on Bushmills.com, that's the showcase product. John Miles, Ron, how are you? Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you. Bryce Regel. Hey, Ron. Hello, Bryce. Simon, I've only had Jameson or Bushmills sipped. Same here. I never had it in a mixed drink or even on ice. I had Jameson, says John Miles. I had Jameson on my prom night a while back, like 40 years ago. Good stuff. Brings back good memories. Yes, happy Easter. Jay, says Simon. Happy Easter to you. All right, so let's go mixing them up. It's humid, it's warm, and there's no breeze today. I mean, it's like still air. It's like I'm looking at that tree right there, and the leaves are totally not moving. They're like froze. It's like a still life painting. Oh, wait, there's a little movement. Oh, well, what do you know? There might be a 1 mile per hour breeze. I don't care. At least it's not cold. I hate cold weather. You know, my friend David came over. He's like, it's hot. It's hot. I was like, it's not hot. It's warm. Okay. And he wanted me to turn the air conditioner on. I said, I'm not turning the air conditioner on, you know. So we could sit outside on the porch. So we sat outside, and then he got hot, and we sat on the porch, and it was comfortable. He didn't admit, but he had to admit, you know, in an oblique way that it was comfortable, and we enjoyed it. We had a lot of good beers, you know. Did we have any great beers? I'm not too sure about that, but very good to most excellent. I don't know about like super terrific, fantastic, but really nice stuff. Bushmills plus ginger ale is a great summer cocktail, says Drayton. Simon, to set the stage, what is supposed to be better? Maybe how expensive red versus black versus white. Okay. Well, the white label will generally be about $19.99 to $22. The red label will be about $21 to $24. And the black label will be about $28 to $32. And it's more likely that you're going to see the high price. You're probably not going to see the low price, but you might, but you're probably not going to. Let's see the red label. The white label. Now, keep in mind, please keep in mind that this company makes an enormous amount of whiskeys, which will cost an absolute fortune. Okay, so these three that I have are their mainline inexpensive products. Okay, you can get their 28-year age. You heard me right, 28-year age. It's not going to cost $30 or $40. It's going to cost $300 or $400. Okay, so Simon Smith says, I love hot weather. I do too. David seems like a dope. Yeah, well, he's no dope. So it looks like you have a misapprehension of reality. Simon Smith says, I enjoy watching videos with David. He's fun. Thank you. Maybe it's because he can grow a beard and I never could. Right. When is the next government question and answer? I don't know. You know, I was thinking about that, but we'll talk about some of that stuff in a minute. So here's the white label Bushmills, the standard, the classic. You know, you see that everywhere. Do I like it? Sure, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. It's nice and does very well. Black and gold and white, beautiful, beautiful bottle. Fantastic bottle. Here's the famous and much more expensive Black Bush. This is 80% single malt. It's going to cost you at least $29. You're really not going to find it for $29, but let's just say theoretically you could find it for $29, but chances are you're not. You're going to pay at least $30, and it's going to be worth it. And it's going to kill everything else in my Irish whiskey collection at this time. At this time, it just wipes them out. No Irish whiskey I have other than, you know, can beat that. They cannot. Now here's the Red Bush. This is like a little bit more expensive than the white label, the original, but not nearly as expensive as the black. It's just something they tried. They were like, well, what if we aged it in bourbon barrels? How would that come out? Well, it came out pretty nice. You say that's a gimmick. Well, you know, maybe it's a gimmick, but it's nice, you know. So here we go. Now, 40 years ago today, today's Easter Sunday, happy Easter, but it wasn't Easter Sunday then. But 40 years ago today, talking about government and history, Queen Elizabeth was in Canada, right? You heard of that country, Canada? I remember watching it on the news that night because I used to watch the CBS Evening News every night at 14 years old, 13 years old, 12 years old, 10 years old. Always watch the news. I just like to watch it. So they were saying Canada, and they showed Queen Elizabeth signing this document. And so 40 years ago today, Queen Elizabeth signed the act, the Canada Act, which gave Canada the right to amend her. When I was raised, we were told in school that a country is called her. Now that's not considered appropriate. But I was raised in a better time. But anyway, so they gave the British Parliament gave Canada the right to amend her constitution without their approval. See, before Queen Elizabeth signed that law, she went to Canada, like a special ceremony. They showed all the people wearing tuxedos, and it was on national television in Canada. It wasn't on national TV here. It was like barely news here, and no one cared, So, but before that law was signed by her, Canada could change their constitution, but the British Parliament had to approve it. So the Canadians were complaining, saying, well, we're not really an independent country if we have to ask permission from another country if we could change our laws. So they said, well, okay, They said, well, go ahead, Now the Quebecians, the people in Quebec were saying, no, we don't want that law because we're still a British dominion because Queen Elizabeth's still the queen. We're not really we don't like the British. We're French, And the Canadians say, you lost the war. Shut up, you French people. Go eat frog legs or whatever you eat. So, but they outvoted them. They voted them down, And they hated the part of the law. The new law also said that Queen Elizabeth and her heirs would always be the queen or kings of Canada unless all 10 provinces voted to get rid of her and both houses of parliament. Now, basically making it virtually impossible to ever get rid of the queen, because you ever hear of unanimous approval of any law, much less a constitutional amendment, and both houses of Congress, or in their country, Parliament, is going to approve it. So, they just made it basically, oh, you're a free country now, and I'm still the queen, and you can't get rid of me. It's kind of like a backhand way of doing that. But that's pretty clever. But anyway, people say, what do you think about it? What do I think about it? Well, I don't care about it. I'm not Canadian. So Red Bush is from the United Kingdom, because talking about that kind of connects to this, because Northern Ireland, where this comes from, Northern Ireland is still a British territory, whereas where Jameson comes from is a republic. They have their own president. They're independent. They cut all ties to the British monarchy in 1949 when they became a republic. They're like the United States, a republic. The Republic of Ireland. Going on. Not sure why you think that, John, says Bryce Regal. Dave seems like a stand-up guy. He is a stand-up guy. Do I always get along with him? No. Do we disagree? Yes. Do we argue about beer? Oh, yes. But, he's got his own mind. He's independent thinking. He's not going to run behind me and say, oh, I'm going to agree with everything you say just so you let me do beer reviews with you. No, he ain't playing that game. I don't mean dope in a bad way. He seems like a nice guy, but he also seems like a dude who will drown in a foot of water. So you're saying it in a negative way. You should go meet him personally and tell him that. That'd be an interesting meetup. Since you're feeling strong, if you're feeling strong, you should go meet him down in Louisiana and tell him that. 23231 says frog legs. Yes. Good evening, Ron. Have a good Easter, says Crash Bandit. Also drinking a bunch of various shooters from the adult Easter egg hunt today. Well, I did some Easter activities today. I went to Mass. I went to 8 a.m. Mass. It lasted over an hour, but it was a wonderful Mass, wonderful Holy Eucharist. Simon says, I've only had fried frog legs after appearing with them with uncles. They were yummy, but that was just, I don't really like frog legs. I don't like any reptile meat, you know. John Miles says Queen Elizabeth is the queen, Ron, today still. I know, that's what I just said. I said that. I said that the British Parliament can no longer, I said the British Parliament no longer has the authority to approve or disapprove Canadian legal changes. You know, they can change their law without British approval. Had nothing to do with the executive branch. I'm talking about the legislative branch. Okay. Why I don't consider Bushmills Irish. It is Irish. It's just the British part of Ireland. It is a lot of fun, Simon. I'd like to meet you, Ron, says John Miles. Okay, well, you know, a lot of people like to meet a lot of people. My neighbor is Catholic. Good. I hope they're practicing Catholic. Happy Easter, my friend, says Bart Robinson. Happy Easter to you. All right, so here we go with the taste challenge. Yeah, David, if I thought David was a dope, like you're saying, in a negative, ugly way, I wouldn't hang out with him. You know, I would just say, well, we'll review beers sometime in the future. Or I'll try to, or I just might tell him, look, I don't want to do it anymore. You know, try to be straightforward with people. He has a lot of interesting, I don't agree with half what he says. Well, maybe half, maybe 60%. And that's probably the same with him. But if I thought he was not credible, I wouldn't waste time doing beer reviews. That smells fine. Is that anything extraordinary? No, I wouldn't say it's extraordinary. It's pungent. I don't know what it is. Let's go over here. Not as pungent. So I think by virtue of that, this one has a fuller nose and this one has a less full nose. I think that this is the what they call it, Jameson, and this is the Bushmills Red Bush. Are they vastly different? No. But then on the other hand, the price is only at the most what, $4, at the extreme $5 difference. I don't think you'll see a $5 difference, but it could be the case in some extraordinary circumstances. I guess they're practicing to a degree. They don't do Lent, I'm sure. Well, that's sort of a fundamental thing. So I guess we'd have to say non-practicing. I'm not passing judgment, but I'm making an evaluation based on practical reality, right? John Miles, David is a lovely, good-looking man, just like you, Ron. Oh, yes? Is that right? I don't evaluate men's looks, but then he seems funny. That's what I meant by dope. Now, I don't think that's what you meant. I don't think you meant that in a negative way. Now you're trying to backtrack. Or you're just trying to be a funny bunny, or what you would say, a silly Billy. But anyway, taste time. Thanks. Cheers. A lot of vanilla here. And I think the vanilla, I just realized something. I forgot to check my labels when I poured the product. That's terrible. Stupid, right? I think the vanilla would be indicative of the bourbon barrel. I don't really know though, but it's sweet. It's sugary. You know, let's remember, whiskey tends to be very sweet and sugary. In my opinion, it's like drinking candy. I think whiskey is like rock candy, Big Top Candy Mountain. Let's go over here. Well, certainly there's a lot more wood application. Wood. You like to. All right. And if my recollection is correct, Jameson has a pretty strong woody note. Well, I'll say this much. I didn't check the label and I poured them and I feel terrible. But who would win? I mean, honestly, I would just go with whatever's cheaper. I would not spend more for one over the other. Okay. Unless I had never had either one. So if I say, well, I had the Red Bush, but I never had the Jameson, well, I'll just buy the Jameson. Well, that's actually what happened in real life. I had never had the Jameson except for a sample at my daughter's house, and I bought the bottle. But is there enough difference to make it really worth your while, so to speak? I wouldn't say so. They're pretty close, so I can't. I can't really say there's a winner or a loser. It's because it's kind of like a personal preference thing. It's like it wouldn't make any sense. It would be like saying, well, this one's more vanilla and this one's more woody, but you know how vanilla is better than wood, so we're going to pick the vanilla. Well, that doesn't make any sense because some people prefer a vanilla flavor and some people prefer a woody flavor. You cannot definitively say vanilla is better than wood. It's a personal preference issue. Do I see any difference in quality control? No way. Not happening. So are these two products even on quality assurance, on their production values? Absolutely. You got it. Simon Smith says, Crash, I eat a lot of beans and cheese instead of fish. I like beans, cheese, and fish. Was David a history teacher like you, Ron? No. Besides easy for modern day Catholics, just one day per week. Right. I mean, 1 day a week, you don't eat meat. That's not really much of a penance. Simon, go play with your kids and get off Ron's video. It's Easter, for God's sake. I think John Miles is a troll, as they call it. Crash Bandit says, I like patties when considering price. Good choice. Laughing out loud, Jay will kick me off his channel if I'm bothering him. You got that right. You don't bother me, you're not getting kicked off. You prefer vanilla over wood notes. I can't say which one I prefer. All right. Well, we got rid of the problem. Yeah, I can usually tell these fake accounts. I just play along with it for a little while until they reveal their badness. Well, they got nothing else to do. I'm looking at the label, like, I didn't check the label. All right, let's pour a little bit more. I want to watch the news at 5:30. They usually show the weather. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you, Ronnie. Yes. Oh boy, let's check it. All right. Okay. So I can tell they don't taste the same. They do not in any way. One is very woody and one is vanilla. So the woody one is the red bush, Ronnie S says, I realized today I was unsub from this channel. That's amazing. But let me tell you something. They got a lot of faults in this platform. I get comments from people from 8 months ago. Like all of a sudden I got comments from 8 months ago. All these people from 8 months. I don't know why they waited 8 months to show the comments. And people will tell me, laughing out loud, LOL, why did you wait 9 years to reply to my comment? I say they never bothered showing your comment for 9 years. See, there's a lot of problems with this platform. But anyway, the red bush is very woody. Yeah, same thing happens to me. I'll be watching people's video channel. I'm like, I know I subscribed to their channel, but it's showing that I'm unsubscribed. So, well, I subscribe. So it's a real screwed up platform. Anyway, oh, I changed the name of the channel. I changed the name of the channel years ago to Ronald J. Terrio, but they it like defaulted back to Ronald Terrio. I told people J is my nickname, and I was trying to put it more accurate. Once again, all kind of trouble, you know. So the winner, I'm going to give the win to the red bush. I like the woody note, but that's a personal preference. It's not really a quality control issue. So I'm going to say essentially it's a tie. It's a tie. So the final assessment is, which one would I buy? Honestly, I would just buy whatever one is cheaper, which means it's a toss-up because they're about the same price. But just use your mind, and you'll figure it out. Simon Smith, thanks for the video, Jay, and happy Easter. Happy Easter to you, Simon. Y'all take care now.